Hello, can you hear me? Hold on. What's up? How's it going? Um, I was just watching some of this Darrell Brooks. This trial is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and I've seen some really ridiculous stuff. He's worse than nuts. Um, it's just flat out. I've never seen anything like it. One second here. Let me get settled. And then I'm gonna get to my chat. To my chat highlight. Darrell Brooks is. Can you hear me? Somebody just said it seems to be frozen. I don't know why it would be frozen. It's not frozen. Let's see. Studio. Give me a second here, guys. I'm getting there. She's gonna need something, right? I mean, it's crazy what this guy's doing. Some people are good with it. Some people are mad about it. Kelly Page says, I'm totally obsessed with this jerk. Have been watching way too much. I can understand. Even if he's a scumbag and everybody knows that, but he is at times must see because you've never really seen much like this. The Ronnie O'Neal the third was pretty good. Well, I say pretty good. It was like an okay. It wasn't a good trial because of what was going on, but it was entertaining and it was sad at the same time. And obviously this is a bit sad as well because because there's a lot of people that were seriously hurt and 6 killed. So obviously none of that is funny, but am I mumbling? Hold on. I don't think I am mumbling. Can you hear me all right? So we can start? Because BC Proud says I'm mumbling. Always one, huh? Yes, I did. I used the word mockery. Does it sound good? Is anybody there? Is anybody watching? Okay. Does it sound normal? Sound good? All right.
Without having that letter. So the state has the ability to question you about that or question this witness and to look at the veracity of what your claims are here. So when I may take an early lunch, and if that's in your cell, then you can go get it and bring it. But without that letter, I'm not allowing this line of questioning.
So I think this is where it says Darrell Brooks flips out when prosecutors reveal he's an SO.
Do you have the letter with you in court?
I just said no. How many times I got to say the same thing?
My son talks to me like that sometimes when if I ask him, I said, did you drink the last Coke? And he'll sometimes respond just like this. No, I just said no.
On record.
You know, sometimes, sir, I don't hear what you say because you interrupt me so much or you answer quietly. And I'm taking notes and I'm focused on probably a dozen things at the same time.
But if I say something under my breath, everybody seems to hear it.
Matt, it's so funny that you say that because he looks like an usher at church that's like has a pass from a halfway house.
Everybody seems to hear that just fine.
In a quiet courtroom, yes, we can hear it very clearly.
Everybody assumes that it has to be disparaging.
Once again, you're doing this tactic.
Because
it's
not a tactic, it's facts.
What we're talking
it's
about
facts.
To some other reason.
It's facts. Because I find it hard to believe that.
It's facts, dog.
I'm gonna
all of a sudden nobody hears what I say.
I'm going to let the state make a record of why they believe it's objectionable because I haven't let them do that. I've given you multiple opportunities to tell me why you believe it's...
I didn't get these pictures from nobody else. Why was somebody else...
The record will reflect you have 2 pictures that you believe were from this witness.
That I know is from him.
No, that you believe.
That I know.
All right. I'll ask the state their position on all of this.
My position, Your Honor, is that these pictures, first of all, should not be admissible. 1, because of a discovery violation. We've never seen them before. 2, because we have reason to believe that he did not get them from Erica Patterson. He is on a jail phone call talking to his mother, Dawn Woods, about Dawn Woods sending these photographs to him. Now,
that's a lie. I object to that.
Let the state make their argument without interruption, sir.
That's a lie, though.
3, I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erica Patterson is a bad mom. I think that is what the defendant is trying to do. And if we're going to go down that road, then we would be forced to counter that claim. First of all, it doesn't make her an incredible witness, if it's even true. And second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada. And for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
furthermore,
I object to that.
I'm not
because that's a lie.
Let him
at
finish.
the end of the day,
Let him finish.
If we're gonna open the door on that, no, since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record. Since you think you know so much.
Once
so
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on. We can open the door on how old she told me she was.
Interrupting.
We can ask that question
he is
too. Then
over the top animated
right
now.
That?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state finish.
No, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter, and he can show it is
BC proud. Thank you.
It will not be questioned, and under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination
closed.
Thank you. We're in recess. 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then, so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much. Did you know she said she was 18 when I met her? Did you know that?
Dude. Let's see what this is. He's so stupid.
Then, state of Wisconsin, all of the issues week of trial. These are your witnesses.
decision made about the motion.
Did anybody see where
Noted for the record. All right, let's bring the jury.
did anybody see where he was like, he called some witness, his defense witness, and then the guy said that he was 100% guilty? It's like,
Actually,
I don't even know what
we
this
did
one
address
is.
subject matter jurisdiction. It still has yet to be proven, for the record, and I wanted to address the fact that with this, is it Kohler? Is that how you pronounce the name? Kohler?
We're going to continue with the witnesses. I've addressed subject matter jurisdiction repeatedly. There's a written decision. I stand behind it. You have 3 witnesses that you subpoenaed. The state made arrangements for them to be here. Whatever order you want to call them in this morning is fine, but those 3 are here.
That's what I was trying to address right now. I was asking
Okay, go
about
ahead.
the
What do you
name,
want to address?
The Kohler, how do you pronounce the name? Kohler? I'm
I
still
don't know.
having
You'll
trouble.
have to ask the witness.
I'm still having trouble finding the file for that particular witness.
Yeah, call the jury in.
So I don't know how I'm supposed to.
Mr. Brooks.
Your Honor, I left my file inside my cell. It's in the toilet. I was trying to make Pruno in there. So I'm going to have to go back to my cell. I also like when he showed up to court wearing my favorite was like they gave him this suit to wear. Like I believe taxpayers paid for his suit, and yeah, somebody said that it should be a terrorist attack. Yeah, I get it. Like everybody is entitled to a trial except him. Yeah, I don't even know. Like I get people will say, well, the reason that he or that the judge doesn't shut this trial down or gag him or whatever, but they're saying that it's for the integrity of the case, for when he appeals, they can just go back and like say, like, look what he did during his first trial and blah, blah, blah. So I think she's just trying to get it out of the way, like just get it over with and just get through it. Because I think they knew that he was going to be a problem because he's obviously a problem. And hundreds, if not thousands of people saw him do what he did. And so, you know.
You were well advised. These are your witnesses that the state made arrangements. You knew who was going to be called. I put that on the record yesterday. So of those 3, whatever order you want, but I'm not moving past those 3
I didn't say anything about moving past the 3.
I know that. I'm just setting the tone for today that we're going to keep moving.
Okay, I simply stated I'm not ready to ask that witness questions if I can't even find
I
your
understand,
paperwork.
but that's you not having your paperwork's on you, not anybody else.
And some of this, like, I think he knows this is the end of the road for him, and he's going to go to prison for life, and he should, and it should be without parole, and they just want to get him through the system and just be done with his shenanigans. But he knows that this is coming to an end, and he's getting more erratic and more erratic. But right now, like, this is something for him to do. Like, he's been sitting in jail, bored, like with his finger up his butt, thumb probably, for a while. And, you know, this is like fun to him. He's having a good time. This is fun to him. It's fun to him.
So what am I supposed to ask him?
I can't answer that, sir. You know that.
That's a rush to judgment. You can't rush me to judgment when I'm notifying the court that I cannot find the record.
Well, you
I
did
can't
very
find
well
I can't
yesterday
find the
without
file
your
for that.
so
I'm saying
I
that
don't think that's the
particular
issue.
witness.
I'll make a record. Yesterday you asked Hold on a second. Can you have them step back out? Just they can. Yesterday, you said you did not have a file for one of the witnesses, and you did a fine job from my perspective. So
I did what?
You did a fine job. I just want to say my assessment.
They also
you did
provided
a good
me
job.
with one sheet for that particular witness at that time.
Okay.
So I just went off of that 3 paragraphs.
You think so? I don't know.
How you're prepared or not is solely on you, sir. You've had all of this information. Now we're at the end of the 3rd week of trial. These are your witnesses. I presume that you are prepared in whatever way that is.
How
You're not
can I
gonna
be
hold
prepared
it up.
for? I'm not. So the witness is just supposed to get up there and just.
Yes.
I'm just like,
I'm
yeah.
not going to have this commentary. Okay, I'm done. The jury's coming out. Be prepared to call
So
one of the
that's a
three.
rush to judgment.
That is not a rush to judgment.
It is a rush
Again,
to
I'm done.
judgment.
The jury's
It's
coming
clearly
in.
a rush to judgment if I'm telling you that I don't have the
No,
file.
in
How
my
am I
opinion,
supposed?
you're attempting to delay. So
No,
let's
I'm not.
keep
I'm not
going.
attempting to delay nothing. You want to come check the boxes yourself? You always trying to pull some fast maneuvers.
Mr. Brooks,
And Miss Judge, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, the jury's coming in.
Yeah,
Show
and
respect to
they
the
deserve
jury.
to know this too. It's still issues that need to get addressed. We didn't even address everything.
Mr. Brooks, I addressed all of the issues.
No, I
You
still
know
had
that.
another one that didn't have nothing to do with nothing we just talked about.
All
There
right.
was a whole nother issue that needed to be addressed that I needed to
And we'll
bring
address
on the
it
record to
later.
your attention.
We'll address it later.
It needs to get addressed now before we go any further because it's an important matter.
Yeah, the one thing that I really don't understand is like how like I didn't think that you could talk to a judge this way. You know? And he's like he's just talking, you know, terrible to her. I didn't think that you could talk to a judge that way. I thought there were serious consequences for that, but hold on one second here. I had no clue.
Just like the subject matter jurisdiction is important. That hasn't been proven on the record.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Just
this
like
is
the
not
rush to
the
judgment.
time for evidence to be presented or arguments to be made by the
I
parties.
can't
The
even
jury
present
will
any evidence. You won't let me even put
disregard
any evidence in the record.
all of these statements
is a
made
rush to
by
judgment.
Mr. Brooks
That's
at this
unfair.
time. All right.
He keeps
That's
saying rush
unfair
to,
what
he
you're
likes
doing.
rush to
We'll address
judgment.
legal matters outside the
This is a
parties.
rush to
Everyone
judgment.
The legal
proceeded.
matter that I was trying to get to before
And
you
you
rush
may call your
everything
next
out.
witness, sir.
I'm not calling any witness until I get an answer, Your Honor. You're a public servant.
Mr. Brooks,
You're supposed to be able to answer simple questions.
Mr. Brooks,
If I'm saying I have to bring
call
it to
your
your
next
attention,
witness, please. That's the stage that
I have
we
to
are
bring
at.
it to your attention, Your Honor.
Mr.
I'm
Brooks,
merely seeking
please
to bring
stop.
an issue to your attention.
I'm telling you to please, I'm asking you to please
And
stop.
I'm asking you, can
because
we
we have
address-
the jury present.
I'm asking
and
you-
we need to continue with the evidentiary phase of this trial. Call your next
I'm
witness.
asking you to address a legal matter, as you said that those have to be taken up outside of the jury.
I will
There
do
was
that
a
at the
legal
next
matter-
break.
There was a legal matter that needed to be addressed beforehand,
I
so
will
we
do
don't
it.
have to take up time,
I will do
valuable
it at the
time
next break.
afterwards to address something that needs to be addressed now. That way,
Mr.
the
Brooks,
court and you
for the
yourself are
third
on
time,
notice.
I will address it at the next break.
So there's no, and Rita, you may very well be correct. He may be trying to get a mistrial, but the exact reason that she's letting him carry on the way that she is to make sure that that doesn't happen and to make sure that his appeal doesn't work, that they won't give him another trial ever, you know, anything like that. That's the point. That's what she's trying to do here.
Call your next witness, please.
Are you asking me?
I'm directing you to call your next witness.
Your Honor, we're not going to move past this. Seeing as how you took an oath to protect the Constitution. I have your oath. I have a copy of your oath right here. The oath that you took, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, I'd like to continue with testimony.
Sir.
We have witnesses waiting for you. Please call your next witness.
The oath that you swore to protect the Constitution, which you are now not doing.
Mr.
So
Brooks,
you're going
call your
against
next
your
witness,
sworn
please.
oath. You're going against your sworn oath.
Mr. Brooks, call your next witness.
As you notify the jury every time when there's legal matters, we take them outside of their presence.
And we're going to take testimony right now. Call your next witness.
I merely seek to put you on notice, on the record, for something that needs to be brought to your attention, to the court's attention.
She's on notice.
That's what I'm merely seeking to do. It's something that shouldn't have to wait because it'll take a valuable time later. At least if I notify you right from the onset.
What does he know about valuable time?
What we're looking at, and we can nip it in the bud before everything starts to roll. And
Mr.
then
Brooks,
it gets
I will
overlooked.
address it at the next break. If you want to write something down, that's fine, and give it to my clerk. I have nothing in writing. I know there's witnesses available and ready to go. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, Your Honor, you have to answer this question. That's
Jen.
Mr. Brooks.
She's first and foremost, I've watched some of this trial, and while I'm no legal expert, I've watched a lot of trials. I've watched a lot of rulings and, sentencing and all this stuff. And she's in my opinion, she's smart. She knows what she's doing, and she's intentionally letting this go on. Blah, blah. So, yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's smart.
Determination.
Call your next witness, please.
You're rushing me to judgment, Your Honor.
There's no rush to judgment.
There is
here,
a rush to judgment. If you won't address a legal issue that I informed you that I had some legal issues that needed to be addressed before you just run right past that, Your Honor. You're a public
Mr.
servant.
Brooks,
Are you not a
it
public
is
servant?
9:37. Call
It is
your...
8:37.
Sorry, 8:37. You're right. Call your next witness.
Shit.
Your Honor, you're rushing me to judgment.
I showed you.
There's no rush to judgment. Call your next witness,
We had
please.
a legal matter that needed to be addressed, and I'm merely trying to
And
notify the court.
Telling you
at
I'm
the
denying the
onset-
request to address it at this moment. Call your next witness.
You said what?
I'm denying your request to address it at
Lex,
this moment.
there is no way that this guy could ever have a lawyer. So yes, this is bound to happen.
Paul,
How can you deny
please,
something that we're supposed to do before
Mr.
the jury
Brooks.
even comes out?
call your witness.
I'm not seeking to be disruptive. I'm just seeking to understand why we do this
Everyone
every day.
is in the courtroom waiting for you. Please call your
Your
next
Honor,
witness.
we do this every single day. We've done it every single day. So I'm simply trying to make sure that the court is notified of
Put it
things
in
that need to
writing,
be
hand it to the
discussed.
bailiff, and if I deem it important enough to interrupt the witness, I will, but call your next witness.
How can I call a witness and write something down and do
You can
both?
take a minute
This
to
is the-
write down what it is.
This
I'm
is
not
the
asking
reason
you
why
to...
it needed to be addressed beforehand.
Mr. Brooks,
That way
the
it
jury is
doesn't become an
remaining in
issue.
this courtroom. Call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, you're rushing me to judgment.
There's no rush to judgment, sir.
Are you not a public servant, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks,
Do I not have your oath of office?
under
3 of them?
90611, this court has the authority, as you know.
Do I not have,
Call-
is this not a copy, or I asked for certified copies that you said on record that you would not provide for no good reason, that these are three
Sir,
of your
you are
oaths
doing this,
right
and I've
here.
repeatedly told you, you can see the jury's here.
You're
You're doing this.
Listen,
we
Your Honor,
need to go
I'm
forward.
not attempting to delay the proceedings. I'm
No,
not
like what I'm saying is,
be disruptive.
Lex, what I'm-
I'm merely trying to notify Your Honor in the court.
what I'm saying
for the
is,
record
who would represent him? Who would
beforehand.
do this with him?
That
Who would
way,
help him?
Everyone's at least
That-
on
that's what I
notice
mean,
of
like,
the issues that need
there's
to be
no
taken
lawyer-
up, instead of waiting until a break or a lunch and things of that nature, which
In
kills
my
valuable
discretion,
time.
it's my authority, it's the courtroom that I'm
Your Honor,
presiding over. I'm not gonna address
is
that
this-
at this moment.
is this not your
And
oath?
I'm not gonna answer
Did you not
questions.
swear as a public servant?
I think
to
they
protect
rested
the
today.
United
Mr.
States
Brooks,
Constitution?
call
Did you not do
your
that?
witness.
3 times. I have all of them. Here, your oath, Your Honor, as a public servant. And
Mr.
now you're
Brooks,
rushing me to judgment
there's no
when
rush
I'm
to
doing
judgment.
things lawfully by trying to notify you and notify the court of issues that need to be addressed
Mr. Brooks,
beforehand.
we are in
These
the
were issues-
evidentiary phase of this trial.
Your Honor, you're
Call
rushing
your
me to
next
judgment.
witness.
You're rushing me to judgment, Your Honor. And I object
I'm
to
aware
that.
of 3 witnesses
I
who are
object-
here.
I
Call
object to
one
that.
of them, please.
Your Honor, I object to that.
Your
I kind of want to
objections
watch
don't
that.
And I want a legal reconsideration of your ruling. If not, I reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling.
I understand.
I request a
Brooks
legal or
questions his
factual
ex-girlfriend.
basis
Has
for your
anybody
ruling,
watched that?
a written judicial finding of fact and conclusion of law for your ruling, and if not that, an interlocutory
That was 2 weeks ago,
appeal for this matter, and if not, these need to be stayed until this matter is before a adjudicated court of competent jurisdiction, because we have not proven jurisdiction in this court as of yet. Subject matter jurisdiction has not even been proven on the record, Your Honor. I don't even know the true nature and cause of the charges against me. I don't even understand that part of it. I haven't been provided a complaint. I haven't.
I kind of want to.
For the record, I have received exhibits 1, 3, and 5.
Exactly the route that
Nick had left, so I sat there and waited for
Okay,
him.
so
Noted the foundation.
when does he?
timestamp of 51 seconds in this exhibit.
What is this?
Actually, can we pause quick? Paused at 1:04, and just to clarify, Ms. Patterson, we're going to watch portions of the video. We're not going to talk while it's playing, and then when it's paused, I'll ask you questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. Resume at 1:04.
I want to see when he questions her. What? All right, whatever. Let's watch the video. Oh no, we're getting porn bombed in here. My. Did you show when she said she was scared?
We've paused at 1 minute and 37 seconds. Ms. Patterson, who did we see in the video there walking?
Me.
Okay. And we saw a red SUV, right?
Yes.
Who was driving that SUV?
Darrell Brooks.
Was there anybody else in the vehicle at that point, to your knowledge?
Nope.
Okay. Let's resume playing.
Is this the one that he beat up, like, right before? Is this the one? He killed 6 people, Beverly. He killed 6 people. Probably for the best.
Pause there. At 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The 2 people who just entered the screen from the right, do you know who they are?
Corey and Nick.
Do you know which is which?
Corey's on the left, Nick's on the right.
Let's resume playing.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't he, huh? What is this video? I don't understand. Is this anything? Does he question her?
Objection. Why is that for the witness? Oh, sorry.
Nick said to the police that there was a knife.
Probably to make them come faster.
We just watched?
Corey and Mr. Brooks were arguing, and that's when he pushed her in her face, and I don't recall what she did back, and then that's when he drove off. One of them, I think it was Nick, called the police, and that's when he drove off.
Do you remember what Nick said when he called the police?
I believe Nick said he had a knife, if I recall, but he didn't have one, but that's what Nick said on the phone.
When you say he...
All right, I'm going to go to...
I'm sure I did.
Ms. Patterson, who's that in the...
Is it true that
Questions for this witness?
Oh, here
done
we go.
your description of where you and the defendant are for this witness?
All right, thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. First of all, good morning
Good morning.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
You
He just wish her happy birthday. I mean, that's insane. I know you'd like to be doing a lot of other things on your birthday, but thank you for testifying in my trial.
You were, hanging out with your friend Miss Corey on the day of this incident, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were hanging out drinking?
Yes.
Would it also be fair to say that you occasionally drink too much?
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that, well, let me back up. What were you drinking?
A Mike's Hard beverage.
I don't think he has a strategy.
Were you aware that it was said that you were actually drinking vodka?
No.
Hold on. When there's an objection, I need to rule on it first, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained that mischaracterizes the previous testimony. Next question.
So it would be fair to say that you were drinking.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were a little intoxicated?
I was not.
How much did you drink that day?
One of the Mike's Hard alcohol beverage.
And around what time of the day was that?
I don't remember.
Was it shortly before meeting up with the alleged defendant, or was it sometime before?
It was before.
Did you have anything to drink after?
No, I did not.
Did
You
he?
stated that you were engaging in a conversation with the alleged
Okay, so
defendant.
closing arguments are tomorrow.
That'd be fair to say.
Yes.
They're not. He didn't close. They didn't close today. They close tomorrow, and that's gonna just be crazy ridiculous. Hold on.
Texas phone calls.
Yes.
Were those texts and phone calls of what nature were they of?
Those texts and phone calls.
Me
Texas.
and Mr. Brooks were arguing throughout the day.
In the texts and phone calls?
Yes, we were.
If there were,
The texts and phone calls.
if the conversation was argumentative, why would you agree to meet up with the alleged defendant?
I do not know.
Do you recall how the meetup was supposed to be set up?
I don't recall.
Did you at any time ask the alleged defendant to meet up with you?
Well, I told Mr. Brooks where I was.
Did you at any time ask to meet up with the alleged defendant?
No, I did not.
So it would be fair to say that the alleged defendant just came where you were?
Yes, I told you where we were. And obviously, we were going to hang out. I never told Mr. Brooks to hang out with me. I told him where we were.
So why would, if there was an argumentative conversation prior to
Acts.
you meeting up with the alleged defendant.
Isn't he a rapper too? Now let me ask you guys this, because I am really curious. So couldn't the judge just say, hey, like, if you're not going to act accordingly, we're not going to give you a trial until you can behave properly? Or, I mean, or is this just a case of her just trying to get it out of the way? Because I think personally that's what she's trying to do. I think she just wants to get this over with. But I think that's what I think she's just trying to land the plane.
Why would you tell the alleged defendant where you were?
Sustained.
Yes, he talks in third person, yeah.
You just stated that you really don't know the city of Waukesha. Would that be fair to say?
Fair to
Yes.
say.
So how would you know exactly where you were?
Because I was with Corey and she's familiar with this area.
Would it be fair to say that Corey overheard these conversations between you and the alleged defendant?
Yes, she was my roommate. She heard every conversation almost.
When you say every conversation, what would that
When
refer to?
when she was in the room with me, when I was always talking to Mr. Brooks on the phone, she would hear the conversations. She heard me and Mr. Brooks,
When she say like that's the funniest part about this, is that when she's saying me and Mr. Brooks, he's Mr. Brooks. He's pretending like the person that they're talking about is some fictional character, that he's really that he is really Darrell Brooks' defense attorney, which he technically, yes, but he's the same person. This isn't the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and he's not omnipresent. So I don't really get this whole thing where he's pretending that he's an actual lawyer who's defending himself, who it's oh man. Yeah, it's not the third person anymore.
Erica Patterson, and Mr. Brooks arguing the day of the parade earlier before we left.
So it would be fair to say that you were engaged in conversation with the alleged defendant before you even left the women's shelter?
Yes.
And those
He's not the alleged defendant. He is definitely the defendant.
Conversations continue into your hanging out.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's what led you to drink?
No, it would not be.
Would it be fair to say you were drinking because that's what you wanted to do?
Yes.
Is it true that one of the rules and requirements of being at the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but when I was drinking, it was at Frame Park. I was not at the women's shelter.
Would it be fair to say that you knew you had to come back into the women's shelter at some point that day, that they have a curfew?
Yes. And I made it before curfew.
Let me back up a little bit. You did state that part of the rules
That was
and
very
requirements for
lawyerish.
being in the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol, correct?
Yes, it was not in the women's shelter.
That's not what I'm asking. It's part of the requirement and rules of the women's shelter.
Yeah, he is wearing he's wearing his yellow or his orange, but sometimes he shows up in court in a suit and then sometimes he doesn't. So some days are better than others for Mr. Brooks. Some days he thinks he's a lawyer, and then some days, but yeah, he has a suit. He just sometimes
drugs,
doesn't wear it.
No alcohol.
Yes.
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Do Is there any type of drug and alcohol testing at the women's shelter?
I don't know. No.
No, or you don't know?
She don't know.
I don't know.
Would it be fair to say that if it was found that you were engaging in drugs and alcohol, that you might have lost your place at the women's shelter?
I'll object. I don't see how this is relevant.
Sustained. Next question.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's just the worst. He
So
really
around
is.
what time were you hanging out with Miss Corey, you said?
I don't remember.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame Park.
Do you remember where in Frame Park?
In the park.
No.
And approximately at what time did you meet up with the alleged defendant?
I don't
It's not
remember.
the alleged, dude. You're the defendant.
How long were you with the alleged defendant? Do you remember that?
Approximately
The alleged
30,
defendant.
35 minutes.
Do you recall what? Well, you said that during this time you were with the alleged defendant that there was a arguing going on. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember what that argument was about?
He was arguing with me about money because I did not bail him out.
You also said that well, let me back up from that a little bit.
All right, let's check this out. I think this is from today.
That by way of a written decision.
And it hasn't been proven for the record. You
Your
have to
objection
state
is
on the
noted.
record. Can I go back in the other courtroom? Because I'm not going to do this with you.
Mr. Brooks, I
Can I go back in the other courtroom? Because I'm not going to do this with you. Oh my God. He thinks that's his mom. Like he's talking to her like that's his mom. Wow.
do want to go over
We don't
the
have.
jury instructions.
I don't understand the
verdicts.
jury instructions. I don't understand anything that's in these proceedings, and I'm not going to participate in something that I don't understand.
That's your choice, sir.
May I please go back into the other courtroom?
You can, based upon your choice and your request.
Oh, he goes in there
make a
later.
Finding that he's forfeiting his right to be present in this
I didn't forfeit
courtroom.
anything. I asked.
I understand you've
So I
asked,
didn't-
but
I
I
didn't
feel it's
forfeit
important to
anything.
also make a finding based upon your conduct.
But based upon what kind of me asking?
Are you willing to expressly waive that right on the record right now?
I'm not gonna expressively waive anything.
Are you willing to
I'm making
engage in a colloquy regarding your right to be present?
He doesn't know what that
and a
means.
knowing and intelligent and voluntary waiver of that right?
I am not going to consent to anything that I don't understand, and I will not answer any questions that I don't understand. I'm
Exactly.
merely making a request to not be present
Fire
in these
move.
proceedings.
And to be in the other courtroom?
Again, as I've stated numerous times now for the record, I will not answer or comply with anything I do not understand. I'm not making a voluntary waivery of anything.
Are you willing to be, let me rephrase that. If I have you stay in this courtroom, are you willing to follow the rules of decorum and courtesy?
I do not understand the question you are asking.
Are you willing to not interrupt the proceedings with disruptive behavior?
No.
I do not understand the questions that you are asking.
Well, given that he won't answer the questions directly, for now he is to remain in this courtroom.
I'm requesting to not be in this courtroom.
But you won't go through, you won't answer my questions regarding that, sir.
I did. I told you I don't understand.
That's not answering the question, sir.
You asked me a question, I answered it. I don't understand. How can I answer something that I do not understand, Your Honor?
All right, let me start with the jury instruction.
You gonna start with subject matter jurisdiction?
No, I've declined that already, sir. I'm not gonna address
Under
that
what
further.
law? Under what lawful law?
Under what lawful
Please
law?
do not interrupt me again with the topic of subject matter jurisdiction.
Under what lawful law?
You run the risk of forfeiting your right to be present in this courtroom.
Then let me go in the other courtroom then.
Are you willing to engage in a discussion about that, sir? I need to make an appropriate record.
I just told you that I don't understand the questions you're asking. What do you want me to do?
Then get a lawyer, dumbass.
I can't answer something I don't understand.
I believe you're choosing not to answer them,
You can
sir.
believe what you want to believe. I believe that you hiding stuff from the jury. I believe you haven't been impartial or fair. You haven't let me even enter anything into evidence, which is my right to do so.
Your
But it
rights
doesn't
are
matter
not
what we
unfettered,
believe,
sir.
Your Honor. I'm merely stating a request to not be present for these proceedings. I cannot answer the
Sir,
questions you are asking me because I
seems to
don't
me
understand them.
You understand your right to be present in the courtroom. Are you telling me you
I don't
don't
understand
that right?
anything. Nope, I don't understand. Nope.
Then you're gonna stay here. For now.
And under what lawful law? You can't force me to stay somewhere that I'm making a request not to.
Yeah.
You can't
You're going to go to prison, and you're going to have to stay there.
make me understand. You can't force me to understand what I don't understand. You can't force that.
I need to address one of the jury instructions, number 315.
So, Your Honor, I'm trying to make a request to not be present in these matters without disrupting the courtroom, as you say that I do, and over talking you, as you state that I do. I'm making a request merely to not be present.
I'm kind of with you.
Obviously, I'm not needed because every decision that's been made here today has been made without my consent. That's clearly telling me that I'm not needed. I have never consented to anything that's going on here today.
No, but I'm going to
I
watch
haven't even
it.
been allowed to present any evidence, which is something that I stated weeks ago. Weeks. You already knew, Your Honor, that I wanted things to present into evidence. I've asked numerous times for that and have been denied. And I don't understand why I'm not being able to adequately defend myself.
In your words, you're not being allowed to adequately defend yourself based upon your conduct in this courtroom and throughout these proceedings, and your unwillingness to follow the simple rules of decorum, courtesy, procedure, rules of evidence. You refused to answer a variety of questions this morning when this court went through or attempted to go through the colloquy with you regarding your right to testify and your right not to testify. And because of that, and based on the case law that I cited this morning, I made a finding that you forfeited your right to present.
So if he's going to testify, is he going to ask himself questions and then answer them? But apparently they're going on closing arguments, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Further testimony and evidence through other witnesses, and then.
But that would have been something. That would have been a friggin' sight to see.
I'm not asking you to revisit them, but they weren't correct.
I understand you will
because
disagree
I
with
never
that.
consented to it and I never answered something.
I understand
and
you
I
did
just
not
stated
consent
the
to
reason
that.
why I didn't answer because I don't understand. You cannot force me to understand what you're asking me.
Sir, I could not even get through the advisement. You wouldn't even listen. You talked over me repeatedly.
Was that from the other courtroom or in here? Because I've been over there all morning.
To the place that you are requesting to go back to, right?
You sent me into the other courtroom.
You're right, I did.
Right. So I've been over there all morning.
With an adequate audio and visual system connecting the two courtrooms. The functional equivalent
to
of being
your
present
equivalent
in this
to
courtroom.
your equivalent is adequate, but to mine it's not. Seeing as how you always state Illinois versus Allen. You always state that. You always state that. But it never refers to a fourth option that you refer to. It never
Mr.
refers
Brooks, I'm not
to
going
it.
to debate this with you. If you continue to bring up subject matter jurisdiction, Illinois
I
versus
didn't bring
Allen,
up subject
the
matter
decisions that I
jurisdiction.
made earlier,
I'm trying to figure out why I'm being
then
held in
you are
contempt.
frustrating the purposes of this hearing
I'm trying to
right
figure out
now,
why I'm being held
which
in
is to
contempt.
finalize the
And
jury
then when
instruction and the verdict forms.
Your Honor, I'm merely trying to understand why when you hold me in contempt,
I never held you in contempt, sir.
you attempted to.
Nope.
You've never attempted to hold me in contempt.
No, sir.
You attempted to hold me in contempt of attempt.
I'm not going to revisit all of these issues.
When I asked you where you hold
Are
me in
you
contempt,
going
you said
to
civil.
respect the decisions that I've made
They're
by
not
not interrupting
they're
me?
not correct decisions, Your Honor.
I understand that.
I can't answer. You asked me questions. You asked me questions. I didn't answer them based on my understanding. How can you force me to understand what you're asking me if I don't? And then you still make a finding based on that. How is that lawful law?
Mr. Brooks, I stand behind the record that I've made today.
And that's fine. I'm not
advising you
arguing
that
with
if
you
you
about what
continue
you rude.
to talk
I'm saying
over
how
me,
can you do that without my
If
consent?
you continue to raise issues that I've
That's
already
a violation
addressed,
of my civil rights.
if you continue to raise these issues, sir, and thwart the purpose of this court, which is to finalize the jury instruction and the verdict forms, you will forfeit your right to be present in the courtroom, and you will appear from the other courtroom.
Okay.
Absent you, I know you've requested
I
to be
just
there.
I made a request the moment we walked in here to not be present for these proceedings, but yet
But you
still
also won't have a dialogue with me about your understanding
because
of what that
it's
means.
my Fifth Amendment right. I'm exercising my rights that I reserved from the moment we walked in here this morning. You can't force that. You can't force me to do anything, actually.
No, you're right, but I can make certain findings that you forfeit rights
You
that
can't
you have based upon your
based on
conduct.
what lawful law, Your Honor?
I've cited the law this morning. All right, I am moving
Illinois
on.
versus Allen, right?
I am moving
That I can
on.
be present from another courtroom.
I need
if I
to
forfeit
discuss
my right-
instruction 315.
Your Honor,
because
I don't
believe some
understand.
language needs to be modified based upon the court's earlier ruling.
I really think that like she's kind of walking a fine line here. It's just it is a mockery. He's making a mockery of the proceedings, and I feel really bad for the families and the friends and the victims and the,
I don't understand.
I think she just wants to get to where it's just done. And I can understand that. He's a very difficult person. He's a very difficult person.
I don't understand the proceedings. And I think that should be stated for the record. If I'm telling you repeatedly, Your Honor, that I don't understand. You can't force me to understand. That's a violation of my constitutional rights to try to force something upon me. That's coercion.
And I know people are like,
I completely disagree with your characterization.
People are saying things like she doesn't want a mistrial or this or that. But and where the wind blows, I'm with you. I don't think that she doesn't have to put up with it. And I'm surprised that she puts up with as much as she does, although she does send him, into the other room. He's just the worst. Like that's
Of the proceedings this morning. While it is true that you did not provide consent, you were entirely uncooperative with court this morning.
That's because I didn't understand. I'm explaining why, Your Honor. I'm not trying to leave it where it was at. I'm attempting to
answer the questions.
I'm attempting to
go
explain myself of why I did not answer. It was because the way that you're making it seem is that I intentionally didn't want to answer, and that's
Mr.
not
Brooks,
fair.
I'm moving on to instruction 315.
And I still don't understand. So how can we even proceed?
Mr. Brooks,
if I'm telling you I don't understand?
that I'm asking you to be
No,
quiet?
I don't.
No, I
Mr.
don't.
Brooks, please stop interrupting
And for the record,
me.
I don't consent to being called that name,
You
Your Honor.
clearly hear me, sir, because if you didn't hear me, then you wouldn't make that statement. So I
Hearing
know
and
you can hear
understanding
me.
is two different things.
I know you can hear me, sir. I'm asking
Hearing
you
and
to
understanding
stop
is two different
interrupting
things.
me.
I'm not trying to interrupt you, but you're gonna, at some point, you're gonna ask me my opinion of what's going on, and then when I tell you I don't understand, it's gonna be taken as me trying to delay or trying
If
to do
you
this or
stop
trying to do
talking,
that.
I will
Ronnie
explain
O'Neal.
why I'm bringing up instruction 315.
And I'm not gonna understand your explanation.
Well, you can't say that if you haven't heard what I have to say.
Didn't you try to do this earlier, before lunch?
But I need to clarify something, because 315, which is the instruction that has it's titled, Defendant Elects Not to Testify. I had it in there. However, that instruction should really only be given if requested by the defendant. There has been no request made. And obviously this court made a finding that he forfeited his right to testify. And absent Mr. Brooks requesting that instruction to be in, I believe it would not be proper for this court to include 315 in the instructions to the jury. Does the state have any position on that?
Your Honor, I did look at the notes that are associated with instruction 315.
It's funny, you always forget, like when you're watching this, you forget that there's other people there. And like, can you imagine they're like, of all the people, we have to deal with this guy.
First, do you have any position on whether this court should include instruction 315 in the jury instructions to the jury?
I don't even understand what 315 jury instruction is.
It's entitled Defendant Elects Not to Testify. I'll read it for you. It's my notes, meaning my materials, my jury instruction book says to be given only if requested by defendant, and it reads as follows. This is the actual language of the instruction. A defendant in a criminal case has the absolute constitutional right not to testify. The defendant's decision not to testify must not be considered by you in any way and must not influence your verdict in any manner. So my question is, do you want this instruction read or modified in any way?
You just said I got a constitutional right not to testify or to testify. I didn't make either one of those decisions, so I don't understand
The
what
jury
you're asking.
instruction is typically read when a defendant does not testify. In every other case that I've had, the decision on whether to testify was a decision made by the defendant personally. In this case, the court found that you forfeited your right to testify based upon your conduct. That is the ruling I made this morning.
How did I make that decision though? I didn't.
My question to
never say
you
yes or no.
is,
I never
do
say
you
yes or
want
no.
the jury instructed that your silence must not be considered by them in any way and must not influence their verdict in any manner?
What do you mean my silence? My Fifth Amendment right?
Correct. I'm not hearing.
He
a
knows the
request
Fifth
from you
Amendment
to
one.
have
He's
the
got that
jury
one down
Because I
pretty
don't-
good, right?
I don't understand.
Like he's the Fifth Amendment right. He's in the pocket on that one. He knows his Fifth Amendment right.
You're asking me the question, Your Honor. I never decided to or not to testify. I
I
never
understand
decided
that,
either
sir.
way.
I understand that.
So how can I answer that? I don't understand why. I don't understand.
We are now at the moment where, but
This is kind of redundant, but
hearing that this court is attempting to conduct with you and give you the opportunity to fully participate. Mr. Brooks is choosing not to answer.
oh wait,
my
did they kick
questions.
him out?
I'm
Okay,
gonna
let's hold on.
mute him momentarily, sir. I will
Yes.
ask you one more time if you have any requests.
The verdict forms looked good. I did.
So they do
ask
kick
the
him out.
clerk
All right, he's interrupted. He's forfeited his right to be here. He's chosen to do that despite the warning from the court. Will be
There
in
wasn't
recess
no
until
warning.
he's
I'm the one
taken
that asked.
over
So let's
to the other
make the record
courtroom,
correct.
and we
I'm
have
the one
the
that asked
audio
when we came in here, Your
and
Honor.
video working
I
appropriately.
asked when we came in here to
Madam
be
Clerk,
present
we'll
from the
have
other
to do
court.
it by Zoom because we may have to utilize the share screen in order.
We don't have to
for
utilize no serious screen because I'm not going to participate in no proceedings that I don't
the
understand.
documents.
I told you I don't understand
We're
a
in
million
recess until
times.
we get the courtroom set up.
No, we don't have to be in recess. I don't agree to it.
All right,
He looks so stupid when he's in the other room. He looks
Just make sure
stupid.
that that's there.
I mean, he looks stupid all the time, but he really looks
Any
stupid in the other
misspellings of
room,
any
man.
names?
I did not see any.
All right.
Wait, what do you mean?
All right, I
Go back
did-
where?
When we started up the video conference, Mr. Brooks has been muted. I am going to unmute him right now. I should state again for the record, all of the verdict forms, or at least the drafts, were provided to him prior to the lunch break.
I feel like
He
this
would
is
have
going
had
to
an
get really
opportunity to review
interesting.
them, should he have chosen to do that. Do you have any position on the verdict form, sir?
I wasn't provided with anything. If I was, I accepted it and returned it for value. And since I'm now in another courtroom, are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like the Nuremberg trial. It's so stupid. It's just like a little kid that gets sent out of class. I've been in school with kids like this. They're like the worst. They argue everything.
You have yet to prove it for the record.
Mr. Brooks, you were provided with the verdict forms. What you did with them, I don't know.
Again, I haven't been provided with anything.
They were provided to you prior to lunch, the lunch
I
break.
haven't been provided with anything.
Teresa, you had the large packet of verdict forms. What were they, how were they given to Mr. Brooks prior to the lunch break?
He looks so stupid.
And the bailiffs are confirming that the verdict forms were provided to him on his table. I will remind you once again that I do, it is my practice
He's
to
seriously
put all of the
a
not guilty
terrible
verdicts on
human.
top of the guilty verdicts in a collated fashion. Again, I saw a couple of just cleaning up, I would say, not with the words themselves, but just capitalization of various words within the verdict forms, and I'll make sure that's done. The appropriate counts had and have the appropriate special verdict questions. Those special verdict questions are only as they relate to guilty verdicts related to the use of a dangerous weapon for counts 1 through 6, the homicide counts, and then 61 through
It's my.
I believe 60.
Wait, what do you mean I missed the box?
7 through 60.
Oh, what's in here? Some words? What do you mean I missed the boxes? I think I saw when he made the fort. Where are the boxes? Does he have to bring them in himself?
7 have that special verdict, and then the hit and run counts have the
When does he make a box for it?
special question related.
I don't think I missed it. Did I? When does he make a box for it? Is it in this video? The box for it? Is it in this video? Does he make the box for it when he's in the other room, the other courtroom? When does he make the box for it? All right, we're going to find the box for it.
If the bailiff could confirm, well, he put him on top, he put him on the floor. That's his right. They're not in front of him, but it's by his own conduct that he's done that. The record should reflect Mr. Brooks is muted because he wants to continue to debate with this court about my prior ruling
I really
regarding his forfeit.
I'm really, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. This is gonna be too much.
Forfeiture by conduct of his right to present further evidence on his behalf.
She's like, why didn't I become a doctor instead?
I know one of the things I probably need to look at, I'm not sure if Madam Clerk did this or not, would be the
It's just funny. It's even funny when they just cut to him. Like, he's in this room all by himself because nobody can stand to be around him because he's such an a-hole. And then, like, oh my God, it's
language from the amendment, from the amended information on count 70. No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, you don't? I changed,
Hold on. 76.
Here we go.
76 count. Just want to make. It says near Frame Park, so it is in there. But that was just one question I had. All right. So, state have any requests as
The
it
hell's he
relates to
doing?
the jury instructions?
I'm just going through each one. I'm on page 50 of 107.
oh my God.
Everything's looking great so far, though.
Okay. Fair enough. There's 107 pages. I certainly can give the parties some time to continue to read through them.
Oh my God. You can just see his. You can just see the top of his head. This isn't real.
Mr. Brooks is requesting to go back to his cell. At this point, I'm going to deny that request. He can remain in the
He wanted to go. He asked to go back to the cell, and she said no. He's the only person. He's the only person in history to ask to go back to their cell and then be told no. He's got to sit there with the stupid boxes.
courtroom.
Oh my God. You can just see his stupid head. You can see his stupid head behind. Where'd those boxes come from? Why does he have? Are those Those his? Are those his? Okay, all right. I gotta calm down for a second. There's no way it gets better. There's no way it gets better. That was the look of my life is over. I gotta see that. She looked over. And was like, she looked over at him and was like, what the hell? Oh no. Oh. Wait, did she do? I couldn't. Look at him bouncing up and down. She's like, what the freak are you doing? Oh God. What the hell? What is he doing? Is he talking to somebody? You can see the top of his bald head. He's just like yelling and nobody can hear him.
I know he's muted, but I can certainly hear him from this side. He appears to be yelling at the top of his lungs. I can't decipher what he's yelling.
You like how you can't even see him. You can't see him, and he just reaches over and grabs a useless piece of paper. Oh my God.
I don't think there's anything else I need to cover at this time, unless there's something from either one of the parties. From the state first.
We would like some further direction from
I've
the
never seen
defendant
anything
as to
like
who
that.
If the bailiff could confirm, well, he put him on top, he put him on the floor. That's his right. They're not in front of him, but it's by his own conduct.
Why should I say that? That's his right. I don't like. I almost had an aneurysm. That was much.
Presence of the jury at the conclusion of this witness, and
Wow.
maybe bring the witness back in. But next
That
question.
seriously hurt.
And these need to be offered into evidence as well. You stated that there's been no contact. How would the alleged defendant obtain photographs from you if there's been no contact?
Objection.
Grounds.
Assumes the fact, not in evidence.
Grounds.
Sustained. Assumes facts not in evidence, not relevant.
Oh man.
How's it not relevant? Photos just don't pop up out of the blue.
Mr. Brooks. Assumes
Wait, they
facts
show.
not in evidence,
No,
and any.
Wait a minute.
And at
Facts,
this point,
I got the
conduct.
picture.
Wait a minute. When do they take it down? When do they take his fort down?
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any position on that? I am unmuting you. I would note he takes the headphones on and off throughout. He doesn't have them on. He's looking at a book.
I wish you would stop saying book. I'm looking at the Bible. Thank you.
Nice.
Not just a book. It's the book.
Can't disagree with you there, sir.
Yeah. How many people actually live by it though? Anyway.
Yeah, and some people don't run over, crowds of people at a parade. But it's the Bible. It's open for interpretation.
Sir, I'm contemplating putting an hour time limit on closing arguments.
I ain't doing no closing argument tomorrow.
The closing arguments will most likely be tomorrow.
I'm not doing it tomorrow.
Then you'll forfeit your right to give one, sir, because as we have...
You can't force me not. What type of court is this where you can say you're gonna force somebody not to be able to give a closing argument? How's that lawful law?
If you
Lawful law.
choose not to give one...
How's that lawful law?
Sir, if you choose not to give one you're not letting me finish, and you're mocking me right now, which is incredibly disrespectful once again.
Okay,
you didn't even let me get my sentence out.
You always want to make an incorrect record. Go ahead. Make your incorrect record. Go ahead.
I'll mute him once again because clearly he just wants to be disruptive this afternoon. But as we have been talking about over the course of the last, 10, 15 minutes, talking about the timing of everything tomorrow, even though I have 107 pages of jury instructions, the first 73, I think, deal with what is read prior to closing arguments. That means the parties should be prepared to give their closing arguments tomorrow afternoon.
I don't know what his defense is.
I will do my very best with just one mid-morning break to get through all of these. For the party's sake, we will need a comfort break. But you should be prepared to go tomorrow afternoon. Then the state, if they have any rebuttal, will get up within that time limit. I will and I'll have my clerk make sure we...
Oh, wait, his rap video? Can we watch that really quick?
Stated for the record, can that be explained?
No, the jury will disregard the statements made by Mr. Brooks. They're not evidence, and the state may continue.
So this exhibit shouldn't be evidence then, because it
Mr.
didn't
Brooks,
exist
the
before
objection's
today.
noted. It's overruled. Go ahead.
There was a still photo shown before of Mr. Brooks standing in front of the Ford Escape. This is the video in which that still photo was taken from.
Objection. How does he know that?
Overruled. The witness may answer. I'll give you the opportunity to question him about it when the state's done asking the questions. Go ahead.
Right, exactly.
Where'd you get this video from, sir?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Nice.
Mr. Brooks' social media account.
That was a fire. He did good there. I mean, he got shot down like it was nothing, but...
Witness may answer.
From his
Leading.
Where'd you get this video from, sir?
Objection. Leading.
That's potential.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
From his
Not so much now.
Mr. Brooks' social media account.
Okay. Your Honor, move
Bye,
to
Snooks.
admit 178 and permission to publish.
Objection to the relevancy.
He was close. It's objection relevance.
Find that it's relevant. I'll receive Exhibit 168. Permission to publish is granted. For the record,
It's 178, Your Honor.
no, could you please tell me the length of the video?
The length is 2 minutes, 33 seconds. We're going to play it in its entirety, but without
What is that look on his face?
volume, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
And
I object to that, and I would like to make an offer of proof for my appeal.
We'll do that outside the presence of the jury, but I will allow the state to play it in its entirety without audio.
Your Honor, I have all the exhibits. They were provided.
Mr. Brooks, I'll take that up along with the other two issues I still need to address.
But how can you play something that's not, that I didn't even
Mr. Brooks,
have?
I'll take that up outside the presence of the jury.
This
Your
is
objections are
mind-boggling.
noted.
This is
It's
mind-boggling.
overruled.
Mind-boggling.
We agree.
actually, Your Honor, I changed my mind. I would like to play the audio, please.
This is mind-boggling.
Oh, you go. You go.
I want to have.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful. Now she's like, we were just gonna, you know what, dummy? We were gonna just play the video, but now we're gonna play the audio too. And she just shoved that right up his butt. That was awesome.
Have it played first without, and then I'll make a ruling and I'll take that up.
Okay, I understand.
Thank you.
Please.
This is mind-boggling.
I want to have it played first without, and then I'll make a ruling and I'll.
They were provided. I didn't even
Mr. Brooks,
have.
I'll take that up outside.
Watch
the
how
presence
she
of the
shoves
jury.
it to
Your
him.
objections are noted.
This is
It's
mind-boggling.
overruled.
Mind-boggling.
Actually, Your Honor, I changed my mind. I would like to play the audio, please.
Oh yeah.
This is mind-boggling.
Good for you.
I want to have it played.
And her and her friend next to her, not her friend, but her other lawyer. She's like, nice. It's a good move.
First without, and then I'll make a ruling and I'll take that up.
Okay, I understand.
Thank you.
Good for you.
So we will play the entire video, Your Honor, 2 minutes, 33 seconds.
I object to that. Why does the whole video need to be played? Is this setting the foundation?
It's relevant. You questioned the officer about it. You questioned
I
this
question him
detective
about.
about
I
his
question him
knowledge.
about the still frame from the video. The video wasn't even in the exhibits that I received. I actually didn't even receive them. They
Mr.
were
Brooks, please
obtained.
stop. The jury will disregard his statements. He's not testifying. The video's playing.
I don't even know what the. Is he supposed to be carrying a gun? Yeah, he is a cornbag.
Play the sound. I want to hear it now.
Oh, he wants to hear a song.
I'll address that later.
I want to hear it. Has anybody heard it?
We address why it was created out of the blue.
Has anybody heard it? We're watching it.
Go ahead, attorney, after the video's finished playing.
Thank you. Sir, did you...
Which one is it? Maybe they took it off YouTube.
Stated for the record, can that be explained?
No. That later.
We address why it was created out of the blue too.
I mean, he's absolutely mad. He is absolutely insane. Yeah, it probably is. So it's his mom's car.
Go ahead, attorney, after the video is finished playing.
Thank you. Sir, did you see during the playing of that video the...
She looks like her nerves are a bit rattled. I feel bad. I feel bad for her, but she's doing an awesome job.
image that was...
And God bless her. Seriously, like I sit up here and laugh about it because it's funny, but I can guarantee you it is not funny to these people. And his actions are it's funny because of how ridiculous he is, but he's done an incredibly heinous thing.
Captured as a screenshot and presented to you in your direct testimony as states exhibit number 175.
Objection leading.
Overruled. Foundational. The witness may answer.
Yes, I did.
A lot of
You were questioned on cross-examination as to your ability to identify Mr. Brooks in exhibit 175, correct?
Do you like the little
that question?
Do you like the little picture I put in the bottom for him?
The question was asked initially by Attorney Hopper.
Overruled. The witness may answer. Sorry.
Yes, I was.
As you just watched the entire video again now in court, as states exhibit 178, did you clearly see Mr. Brooks in that video, sir?
Objection leading.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
I believe there's no doubt that that's Mr. Brooks in the video and later standing next to the Ford Escape.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
As to this particular piece of evidence only, Mr. Brooks, you may ask questions of Detective Casey.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name. And
Noted. Do you have any questions for the...
I want you to refer to me as Foghorn Leghorn.
Witness.
This when did this video, when was this made a exhibit? Because I don't have it.
Objection. That's not a question for the witness, Your Honor.
That was a question.
Sustained.
When was this
As to the
video
form
made
of
an
a
exhibit?
question.
When was this video made an exhibit? That is a question.
I object to the question directed at the witness, Your Honor. It's beyond the scope of his knowledge.
Well, he said he saw it.
But that's not the question asked. So you can rephrase your question if you want to.
When did you see this exhibit? When did you see it?
With the understanding that you're asking when did he see the video, I will
When
allow
did you
the question
see this
to be
exhibit?
asked. With that understanding, you may answer to Casey.
Am I answering when I saw the video for the first time?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Why is something always funny at that table? It would be the same thing. I'll take that as disrespect because they were allowed to say something and I said under my breath that was disrespect.
I would direct both parties to avoid commentary.
Okay, well, can you do that, please, and admonish them? Because I'm always the one getting admonished.
Everyone.
I take that as disrespect too.
Sir, can I do my job? State's directed to avoid laughing commentary. I didn't see it, so I can't further comment. I was looking at
all these
the
cameras
witness.
in here. Don't nobody
However,
see nothing.
I'm advising both parties to show
Come
decorum
on, man, this is not fair.
and restraint, to be respectful of this jury's time and attention, and to let them do their job by focusing on the testimony and exhibits and evidence that's presented. Go ahead, Detective Casey. You can answer the question about when you have seen this video.
Man.
And in my my almost 11 years on the bench, I've presided over dozens and dozens of cases.
Yeah, let me see here. Darrell Brooks interview. What's the... Oh, okay. This
thing worth noting is the testimony of Detective Casey that this video was obtained from the defendant's own Facebook account as well. The court is well aware.
He said social
There's
media.
nothing that...
He didn't say what it was.
Sir, stop interrupting. We have to make a record of it. You've
Then make the record clear.
interrupted multiple times. I've been abundantly patient
record
with
clear.
you. Again, another interruption. So you need to be quiet and let the state make a record. Stop gesturing at
asking
me.
me to be quiet?
Stop rolling your eyes at me.
I'm
Stop
not,
mumbling.
I'm looking right at you. I'm not rolling my eyes.
No, you
I'm
have
looking.
throughout. I've seen it
I'm
and I've
looking.
made note
I'm
of
looking
it.
at you. Okay, so are you asking me to be quiet or are you telling me to be quiet?
Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm gonna take that
and
as
just
asking.
to indicate, Your Honor, this court has been abundantly patient with Mr. Brooks. He challenges the court's authority repeatedly. This court absolutely has the ability to tell him, sit down and be quiet. And you haven't done that. And I know why you haven't done that, Your Honor, and we appreciate that. He is not in control of this courtroom. You are. And he needs to respect that. This video was relevant based on his questioning of Detective Casey, as you just indicated, challenging his ability to identify the person who had their back turned to the camera in the still shot of State's Exhibit 175. Trials are fluid. When he opened the door to that, we came up with the video which Detective Casey testified repeatedly on direct examination and cross-examination as to how he knew that was Mr. Brooks, because he had seen the rest of the video. He would not accept that. He pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until we played the video. The lyrics of that video probably would have been prejudicial. Originally, I wasn't going to ask for volume. Then I did, because he pushed it again, and his voice and his mannerism of speech, I thought, would have assisted the jury in identifying Mr. Brooks as the person in the video with the red SUV. However, you smartly asked me to play it without the audio, and I did that, and then I never went back to that. This is all to the benefit of this defendant, who continues to suggest and impugn the integrity of this court and this prosecution without basis. He doesn't like it because the evidence is stacking up and stacking up, and whenever it does, his response is to accuse you, the court, or the prosecutors of being unethical and hiding things. There is nothing in law that prevents me from pulling something out of my briefcase right now and making it an exhibit if it's relevant. You decide what's relevant, what's admissible, not Mr. Brooks. There is no law, he can cite to no law, no authority whatsoever that says I can't make an exhibit essentially on the fly if it's called for, and that's exactly what just happened here. So I apologize for my tone with the court. I don't mean to direct this at the court. It is very frustrating. The court has demonstrated much more patience than I have with Mr. Brooks, because again, I do not appreciate his impugning the integrity of these proceedings, of Your Honor's efforts to run a fair trial, and of our efforts to run a fair trial. We have ethical obligations as well to be fair in this courtroom. We have respected that entirely. The reason I was laughing 30 seconds ago was because the exhibit was mislabeled. There was an extra Y and it said Exhibity, EXHIBITY. And I turned around to the paralegal and pointed that out, and we laughed over it, the word exhibity. That was it. There has been no disrespect directed at Mr. Brooks' directly in any fashion. So he can object all he wants, and he has made that clear. He will continue to object and obstruct the court and obstruct these proceedings every last chance he gets. But legally, everything has been above board and proper, and this exhibit is no exception. I apologize for my tone, Judge.
Thank you. I appreciate that additional record being made.
I object to that.
My
Oh, man.
previous ruling doesn't change in any way that the exhibit is relevant. I indicated I would take it up because, and I'm taking what the state's saying as withdrawing the request to play the lyrics.
That is correct.
All right. I have not heard them, but I'll certainly take the state at its word as an officer of the court that
I really do feel bad for that, for the state having to put up with this. And I think, I don't think that she was being as rough with the judge as people might think. I think that it was more of a directive saying, you know, he doesn't run this, you do. But I think the speech was for him. You know what I mean? Like that speech was for him, not her. Just my opinion. Yeah, she was telling Brooks to eat crap.
question is, do you want this instruction read or modified in any way?
You just said I got a constitutional right not to testify or to testify. I didn't make either.
I plead the fifth. No, you absolutely do not hear. The judge allowed, by the way, the judge took no offense to what she said at all. The judge let her voice her frustration. She knew that she was frustrated, and it was better to come from the state than the judge, because obviously the judge doesn't want to seem impartial. So, you know, exactly. It's on the record.
I don't understand.
The jury instruction is typically read when a defendant does not testify. In every other case that I've had, the decision on whether to testify was a decision made by the defendant personally. In this case, the court found that you forfeited your right to testify based upon your conduct. That is the ruling I made this morning.
How did I make that decision, though? I didn't.
My question to you
yes
is,
or no. I never
do
say
you
yes
want the jury instructed that your silence must not be considered by them in any way and must not influence their verdict in any manner?
What do you mean my silence? My Fifth Amendment right?
Correct. I'm not hearing a request from you to have the jury
because
given this instruction.
I don't understand why you're asking me the question, Your Honor. I never decided to or not to testify. I never decided either way.
I understand that.
So how can I answer that? I don't understand why. I don't understand.
We're now at the moment where we are discussing whether the jury should receive an instruction.
And I think that I really do think that the state knows that he's going to be found guilty. And I think it's just getting there is the difficult part. And I think that they're yeah.
Specifically on you not testifying, irrespective of the reason for that. I believe I could modify this instruction to simply say a defendant's silence or a defendant not testifying should not be considered by the jury in any way and must not influence their verdict in any manner. Are you making such a request?
Yeah,
for a modified
I get what
instruction?
I don't understand it.
I get what she's doing, and I understand what she's doing, and I appreciate what she's doing. But there is a fine line here. You know, I don't know anybody that would look back on appeal at this if they duct tape this man's mouth shut. I don't know anybody that was looking at this appeal and be like, that was biased. She shouldn't have done that. But I guess in today's legal climate, somebody's going to want to represent him, for his appeal, or he might try and do it by himself, which is even funnier.
The question, because I never decided to or not to testify.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, sir. I really do. But in light of the court's decision that you forfeited your right to testify,
how did I forfeit something I never said?
Do you want the jury to be instructed something to the effect of they cannot use your silence, meaning they cannot use you not testifying against you in any way?
I don't understand, because I never made a decision not to or to testify.
I'll ask you one more time, and if you do not answer with a yes or no, I will take your answer of not answering as you are not making a request for a modified instruction.
How can you do that,
Do
Your
you
Honor?
want this court, sir, to instruct the jury in any way regarding you not testifying in this case?
I don't understand the question.
All right, then based
I don't
upon there's
understand.
not been an express request made by Mr. Brooks to give either 315 as it's in the standard or pattern jury instruction, or a modification as this court has suggested, 315 is to be taken out of the jury instructions.
How are all these decisions being made without me understanding?
Then I have looked over the verdict forms, and other than really what I would describe as some consistency in how phrases, whether there's all caps, not all caps, but
All caps.
what we call the sentence
Like the name that was
capitalization
on
for
there,
the
all
charges. For example, I want to be consistent with how I spell out first degree intentional homicide.
He
or
could.
First degree recklessly endangering safety. There was just sometimes it was capitalized, sometimes it wasn't. So we're looking through all of that to be consistent. I want to make sure the word information is capitalized, since that's the charging document, things of that nature. It is my practice, and you should be aware, Mr. Brooks, that I always put the not guilty verdicts on top when I hand all the verdict forms to the jury. And by that I mean it's by charge. So they're collated, if you will. So the not guilty followed by the guilty for counts 1 through 76.
You said it's collated. What do that mean?
So I put the not guilty, then the guilty for count 1, followed by the not guilty and the guilty for count 2, and so on and so forth.
Why you got to use big words? Just use normal words. I don't know nothing about no collated.
All the way through the remainder of the counts that are alleged in this case, which in this case total 76.
I don't understand. So how?
I looked at the special questions
Will you
that
answer
are
that, Your
on the
Honor?
guilty verdicts only. They did appear to be proper. Again, just some grammatical things, but I believe those are all accurate.
Can I
I'll
go to
turn
the other
the
courtroom?
state.
Since you don't have to answer any questions, but I have to answer all, can I
I love when he
I
asks
just
that.
go to the other courtroom?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Because it's not normal, stupid. This isn't how court works. That's why. Why not? Because you have to sit in the court with everybody else because you're an idiot. Sorry. He's a moron. Why can't I go to the other room? Because you're dumb. Just sit there and be quiet. Oh, I got to see this.
We can get this done tomorrow. And so that's my expectation. So, Mr. Brooks, I'll unmute you, but that is the expectation of the court, that closing arguments will be done tomorrow.
You can't rush me to judgment, or you can't practice law from the bench and tell me when I can do something and when I can't.
Mr. Brooks, I actually can, under all of the rules of procedure. It is my job to make sure there's effective and efficient administration of this trial.
Then I should be allowed to, then if that's the case, then I should be allowed to tell the jury what they need to know, which is the truth. That they have the power. They have the power to nullify laws if they don't agree.
You are absolutely not allowed to tell the jury that. There's a jury instruction that I will have ready to go if you even attempt to raise the issue of jury nullification, sir. You have absolutely no right to raise that. That is clear under the law.
I can raise what I want to raise. And you can't, so you added these jury instructions at the last minute, then you should have never approved them from the get-go, because I never approved them. I told you I didn't understand them at all whatsoever, and you still passed it.
Sir, if you understand jury nullification, you understand jury instructions. It's clear to me you've done your homework.
What you talking about? I don't care what you're talking about. I'm going to let them know that they can nullify any law they don't agree with, which is my right.
It is not your right to do that.
Say that it's not.
It is not your right to raise jury nullification.
Show me lawful law then. Show me.
All right, I'm going to mute him once again. He's starting to raise his voice. He's starting to hit his hands on the table. It's very clear to this court that it's going to be a challenge tomorrow during his closing arguments. He does not have an unfettered right to say whatever he wants or how he wants. If he is going to be adamant about defying the court's rules, which I will tell him in part what they are today, and I will work on that as we break and have a very clear advisement for him tomorrow morning. He may run the risk of being put in the other courtroom because he'll forfeit by his conduct his right to be present here, and I will be able then to exercise the mute function. I have to balance, frankly, the fact that he's in custody, that it takes time for this jury to be excused. They have to walk an entire hallway behind me. I frankly don't want him to look worse than what he's looked, frankly, in front of this court when they haven't been in this courtroom. I need to preserve how he looks to this jury. And I will need a very clear...
See, like I said, I don't know crap about, court proceedings like that, but I don't think that she needs to do anything like that. I don't think that she needs to be the one to preserve how he looks in front of the jury. That's his problem. That to me, that's his problem, not hers. I don't understand. I don't understand that. I'm with Brooks. I don't understand here. Don't do him too many favors.
By him that he will follow the rulings that I make as it relates to the closing arguments. He cannot raise jury nullification. He cannot raise facts that are not part of the record. He cannot raise subject matter jurisdiction. He needs to argue the facts based upon his theory, based upon the evidence that's been presented, and those are the bounds. If he's going to, I can only imagine there may be some objections by the state. If there is an objection, I expect that he will stop and wait for this court to rule on the objection. I expect that if I sustain an objection...
You're not going to get a mistrial from him acting like an a-hole in front of the jury. That is not going to cause a mistrial. There's just no... How could that cause a mistrial? He's the one acting that way.
That he will honor it. And if he can't pledge to follow these very simple rules of courtesy and decorum that are consistent with the rules of procedure and the rules of evidence, then he will be in that other courtroom for his closing argument, so that I can exercise mute, frankly, to protect how he looks to that jury. Because that is the balancing that I am tasked with tomorrow, is to ensure that this jury makes a determination based upon the evidence and the law. Pages.
I mean, I get it, but I get it. It's not like I understand. I understand. Laura says the judge is protecting the case from mistrial, appealable procedures, errors, etc. I need to be surprised. It's not that I'm not surprised. There's nothing in court that surprises me. Like jurors and juries, and I've seen a lot of them. So I get what you're saying, but you know, his actions are his. You know, I don't care. Like, I don't think that it should matter how he looks in front of the jury. If he wants to look like an a-hole in front of the jury, let him.
We can get this done tomorrow. And nullification, sir. You have absolutely no right to raise that. That is clear under the law.
I can raise what I want to raise. And you can't, so you added these jury.
Hey, what's this?
I know I'd ask that it be put in writing, but I'll also give you the set, and I really do, but I've made my determinations.
You don't understand nothing. You don't understand anything, Your Honor. You don't.
I'm going to mute him again because he's not answering the questions that I'm very clearly asking him, and I've given him 5 opportunities. Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as a...
Gina says it's a slippery slope because he's representing himself. I think it was made very clear to Brooks at the beginning of this trial what representing himself, you know, the problems with representing himself. And so, you know, he's dumb, and you know, I just think it's dumb.
Relates to the jury instructions. I'll unmute you for that answer.
I can't hear everything you're saying.
Mr. Brooks, I know you...
So somebody explained to me... Somebody explained to me why the jury can't see that. Why can't the jury see that? I don't know.
I believe you can...
He's the one doing it.
Hear me. You've chosen not to put the headphones on. That's your choice. My final question to you, do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
I just told you, am I muted? Am I muted?
No.
I just told you, I don't know how many times, I can't hear everything you're saying.
Then you should put the headphones on.
Don't you understand? What about that don't you understand? Do you see headphones? You can see everything. You can see boxes, but do you see headphones?
Have you asked for headphones to be...
Because it contain how the jury see him can influence their verdict. Well, no shit. I mean, if you ask me, a guy who is capable of running over a crowd full of people killing 6 of them, injuring 60. His temper is evidence. I mean, is that not evidence? Looks like evidence to me.
Provided, sir?
I should have to ask him. I didn't ask for my boxes to be moved.
I believe they took them away previously because you were so agitated. They were perhaps afraid you might break
Yeah,
them.
I'm still agitated. I ain't gonna stop being agitated.
Okay, so then you play this to the jury. Okay, listen how he's talking to the judge. And what's he accused of? Beating up his girlfriend, running over a crowd full of people at a Christmas parade. You know, yeah, I'm sure they have a pretty good idea, but
that ain't gonna stop. You sit up here and do everything you're doing and think God don't see what you're doing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any requests as it relates to
going by the letter of the law? I mean, is that really though? I mean, like, people have outbursts in court all the time. His is just continuing. Like, that to me, like, if you want to be on your best behavior in court. Okay, I mean, what do you think about people who are on trial, who are on trial and they're slumped over in their chair, they're not paying attention, they're this, they're that. You know. Laura says, I'm going to argue with you on this, Laura. Evidence has to be related to the offense. The offense is that he's a lunatic who drove a car through a crowd of people. His ex couldn't be questioned about her kids for character. His character is in question. Yeah, I do kind of agree with you there, but
the jury instructions?
Yeah, I can hear what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying.
You just told me you didn't. So which one is
Yeah,
it?
I got the headphones on. You can't see that?
What are your requests as it relates? What are your requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir?
Man, don't try to come with this whole little image of sir. Now it's all this sir and all this. I'm gonna get where I'm going.
I like that,
Put on this little
Angel.
act like you
That's
so
funny.
worried about what's going on with me. You don't give a damn. Never did.
Mr. Brooks, you're being disrespectful again.
I think you're confused between how it should be and the actual rules. I'm not confused. I'm telling you that the rules, just because it's the rule doesn't mean it's a good thing. Just because it's the rule, there are many rules in court or in the legal system that aren't good. And I don't even know if this is the actual rule. I don't know if it's an actual rule or if this is just, wants to do it. I think she just wants to get it over with. But, I don't know if it's a rule.
You've been being disrespectful. You've been being disrespectful.
I need to know what your position is regarding the jury instructions. And I need to know it now.
What you mean? Who you talking to?
I'm talking to you. I need to know whether you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir.
Yeah, first of all, why am I charged with 2 bail jumpings when I was already charged in Milwaukee for the same bail jumping? That's double jeopardy.
That's not double jeopardy. Your objection is noted. It's overruled.
It is double jeopardy. How you gonna charge me with the same charge that I'm already charged with? You can't do that. The Fifth Amendment says that you can't place somebody in jeopardy of life and limb. Twice. I'm already charged with the same count in Milwaukee. For the same case. It's the same.
I disagree. I think she's doing a pretty good job.
Sir, I'm not going to provide a legal explanation.
I do think she's doing a good job. I'm just saying, you know, I'm trying to tell you that I get what she's doing. It makes sense what she's doing. But at the same time, you know, if he wants to make himself look like a bigger jackass, then who cares? Yeah, I do think she's doing a good job. I really do.
Is noted, but the jury will be instructed regarding the bail jumping.
It can't be because that's double jeopardy. Under the law, it's two.
He thinks it's double jeopardy.
In nature, you cannot place me in jeopardy of life and limb twice. You can't do that.
What's your next?
The same case number.
What's your next request, sir? I'm noting your objection.
I'm trying to talk. Can I get it out? You always want me to not interrupt you, but you always find a way to talk over me.
No. I was talking to Linda about this, where I was saying do you remember the Parkland judge, who's a very pretty lady, and you know, sure, she's not like some 70-year-old man with a turkey neck, but you know, like she's a more accomplished human than I will ever be, and she's got an incredibly difficult job. Her looks are really the least of worries, and I'm sure that she probably would I think that she would probably does take offense to people talking about her looks. I think that she is handling herself very well. But yeah, sure. She's a very pretty lady. There's no doubt about it.
Saying it's overruled.
But she's still a good judge.
You always want respect, but don't want to give it. I'm charged with the same bail jumping charge here that I've already been charged with.
Like I would like her just as much if she looked like Kathy Bates, which I like Kathy Bates too. Not like that. Fried green tomatoes. I used to think it was 5 green tomatoes, and I had no idea. My grandma would be like, "I'm watching fried green tomatoes," I think she'd said, but I thought she said 5 green tomatoes. And I was like, who the hell would watch a movie about 5 green tomatoes?
Double jeopardy. You can't charge me for the same exact bail jumping that I'm already charged with, that I was charged with before this even came about.
Sir, the bail jumping charges in Waukesha County are based upon your violating your bail while in Waukesha County by driving through the Christmas parade and allegedly killing 6 people and injuring 61 others.
Okay.
That's the distinction.
Again, there is no distinction. It's the same charge.
It's the same offense. It doesn't mean it's the same factual basis, sir.
He is not charged with bail jumping with the data violation of November 21 in Milwaukee County anywhere. Further, the double jeopardy program.
Hit the like button, please, 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 please.
Twice, not charged twice.
All right, so we've addressed that, sir. What other requests do you have as it relates to the jury instructions?
I want to know why I'm even charged twice with the same thing. You can't charge me in pursuant to a case in Milwaukee that I'm already.
Yeah, my gripe isn't how she's running this trial. My gripe is with him. He's the one that's being an a-hole, honestly.
Already charged with bail jumping for that already. So you can't essentially say, oh, well, because you were already on bail, we're going to charge you.
It's a different date of violation, sir. The conduct for the bail jumping is related to the allegation that you committed a new crime in Waukesha County while out on bond from the Milwaukee County case.
Yeah, but I'm referring to the first bail jumping count. The first. I'm not referring to both of them. I'm referring to one of them.
My understanding, sir, is there's different dates of violations as it relates to that. So I've noted your objection now repeatedly. I understand it. Your request to, I guess, dismiss the bail jumping counts are denied.
I didn't say nothing about counts. I said one.
Whether it's one count or both, it's denied.
Am I not being understood? You can't charge me with the same charge twice. You can't.
It's two separate cases, sir. There's two.
Isn't that 971.23? Isn't that the statute? That refers to the double.
All right, sir, I'm not going to have an argument. This isn't fruitful. I understand what you're saying. You're saying there shouldn't be two counts of bail jumping. You believe it's double jeopardy. I disagree with that.
Well, yeah, the reason that it's not is because you can jump bail twice. You're not charged with it. You're not charged with the same charge twice. It just so happens that you committed the same crime twice. You jump bail twice. That's the difference, idiot. It's not that hard to understand.
I'm already charged with it, though.
This is a circular argument, sir. It doesn't change the fact that, from my perspective, the bail jumping counts are going to proceed forward. There's been sufficient evidence presented to warrant the jury being instructed.
They can't.
What other requests do you have,
You're not
sir?
gonna talk over me. Don't talk over me. Just like you don't want me to talk over you. Just like you don't want me to talk over you. Just like you don't want
Mr. Brooks, what other requests do you have?
And I just asked you not to talk over me.
So what?
You've been making your record the whole time you've been over there. You had me muted. I didn't see no requests over there. I didn't write nothing to go over there. I let you do what you was doing.
All right, I can do that.
No matter how egregious and biased it is, I'll let you do what you was doing. Because we both know that what you're doing is not right. Idiot.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to refocus your attention to the jury instructions. All of your objections are noted. I understand that. If you can't answer my question, I'm going to move on.
Idiot. You can't. I haven't given you consent.
All right, I'm going to mute him once again. He refuses to answer simple questions regarding if he has any requests. He just made an argument regarding the bail jumping, so clearly he has an understanding about the law as it relates to that. It may be a misunderstanding about the law of double jeopardy, but he made an argument. I've denied it. I'd like to know if he has any other requests.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
I'll unmute. I will unmute him again, and he can tell me the list, just like the state went through a list. I need to get through their list. I'm asking you to list out all your requests, and then I will take each one up in turn. So here is your opportunity to give me your other requests, not debate with me about prior rulings. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
Don't sit up here and try to play no game talking about you giving somebody an opportunity that you haven't gave me an opportunity to properly defend myself and put stuff into evidence, which I've asked you repeatedly to do before we even got to the trial. Idiot. You told me we wasn't in the evidentiary phase. Idiot.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any other requests as it relates to the jury instructions? This is probably the 10th or so time I've asked you this question.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So please stop being incorrect, Your Honor. Please stop.
Do you have any additional requests as it relates to the jury instructions?
Yes.
Oh.
That first count 74 bill jumping needs to be dismissed.
I've done my best.
2 things. You can't charge me with the same charge twice.
It's
All right, I
hard.
made a
You know,
note of
that's
that.
real tough.
What's the next issue?
Either one company gonna charge me with it or y'all, but it can't be both. It's the same. It's pursuant to the same exact.
It's pursuant to the same.
Same exact thing.
That's because
Same exact case.
I've done my
So why
best.
are we giving the jury instructions?
That's because
on
God,
cases
it's hard.
from
You know,
another
that's real
county?
tough.
I've made a
And I'm
note of
already
that.
charged
What
with
other
bill jumping in one
requests do you
charged
have?
bill jumping years.
No.
Man, this is ridiculous. So I'm not even able to adequately defend myself, present evidence, do anything, because everything I say is going to be found a reason for it not to be done.
No.
What are we doing here, Your Honor? What is the
Mr.
point
Brooks.
here for? Why should I be here when
I've made a note of
Not
your
that I-
request as to count 74. Do you have any
Okay.
other requests as it
Okay.
relates
All
to
right.
the jury instructions?
Okay. Okay.
Certainly.
All right.
Why are we even having jury instructions? Why do I have to even sit here in this courtroom at this point? Because everything you've been doing without my consent anyway. So you're gonna find a way to do this without my consent. So why do I need to be here for?
Your objection for lack of consent is noted for the record.
Okay, yeah.
Any other requests, sir?
You talk a good game. You talk a good game to save yourself enough space. But everything I put up that has no merit in your court. None.
All right, I've asked him many times. I've advised him, and I'll advise him once again. If he fails to answer the question, I'm moving on. Do you have any other requests as it relates to the jury instructions, sir?
You can't move on because I haven't given you consent to.
All right, he did not answer. So I'm muting
No.
him again. The only request that he has made as it relates to the jury instructions, as he pounded his fist once again, raised his voice. I understand, I really do, that he's upset with my decision to cut off his ability to present a defense, but that decision was made based on his conduct and his conduct alone, as I've outlined already on the record. So the only request that he made was as it relates to the bail jumping counts. I'm denying those requests, whether it be to dismiss one count or to dismiss both on double jeopardy, or to just not instruct the jury. However way I interpret it, I'm denying that. All right, let me go through the state's.
Your Honor, can I add one more?
Sure.
I'm sorry. 154, summary of evidence. I believe we had a map, actually 2 maps that summarize the, we had 3 maps. I think the one was summarized his route, the path that he took. The other one summarized the victims who were struck in the specific locations. And the other one summarized the positions of the law enforcement officers at the various intersections and throughout the parade route.
I'll make a note of that. I don't believe I saw the jury view instruction either. I mean, that was given to them at the time. I don't know that it needs to be reread, but I think we need to consider that as well. And that was my version of 152. All right, so let me go through the list from the state. Turning to page 61.
I gotta go to bed soon. Doesn't the closing argument start in the morning?
By the state, I am going to rely on what information they put in the charging document. I'm going to deny the request.
Oh, this is the fort.
Include the specific case numbers.
Yes.
There's evidence, of course, that was received regarding the 2 separate cases out of Milwaukee County that form the basis for both of the bail jumping counts. It will be up to the jury to review the evidence and make a determination as to the verdict forms, though, that were referenced previously. At least the description of them in the jury instructions that Obviously, the third count of bail jumping is incorrect. That needs to be battery, and that change will be made. I'm also having Madam Clerk include all of the numbers for the jury instructions when they go back, so it's very clear. Some of them did not have them on, just frankly from prior cases that she and I have worked on, but in this case, I want to be very clear with all of the numbers. So I think I've addressed the first two bullet points. As far as the motive instruction as a standalone,
4.5 hours from now.
And I'll instruct Madam Clerk to include that.
Dude, this is my second.
As where it goes, I'm going to just. This
is my second stream today.
Should just be in the numerical order.
Although this one's more of just a hangout stream, I guess.
Then the state also made a request as it relates to jury instruction 70, which is found on page 65. So as it relates to this, the state is asking that I simply instruct the jury based on the pattern instruction and not include that second paragraph. I had previously advised the jury with another paragraph that I was contemplating including, even if I took out that big paragraph that just said, at times Mr. Brooks has appeared from another courtroom. This must not influence your verdict in any manner. What's the state's position on including that but taking out the paragraph you request to be taken out?
That's fine.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any position on that?
Yes, I'm an idiot.
So jury instruction 70 has to do with the defendant proceeding pro se. The pattern instruction would be basically the first paragraph. I need the bailiffs to move the boxes away from his face. I need to be able to see them. He can keep them on the table, but they need to be moved off to the side. And if he does it one more time, then I will instruct the bailiffs to take the boxes away. So as it relates to this, the state is asking that I simply instruct the jury based on the pattern instruction and not include that second paragraph. I had previously advised the jury with another paragraph that I was contemplating including, even if I took out that big paragraph that just said, at times Mr. Brooks has appeared from a courtroom. This must not influence your verdict in any manner. What's the state's position on including that but taking out the paragraph you request to be taken out?
That's fine.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any position on that? Which is, so jury instruction 70 has to do with the defendant proceeding pro se. The pattern instruction would be basically the first paragraph. I need the bailiffs to move the boxes away from his face. I need to be able to see him. He can keep them on the table, but they need to be moved off to the side. And if he does it one more time, then I will instruct the bailiffs to take the boxes away. Those are trial prep materials. If there's something in those materials related to jury instructions, he should take those out now. Otherwise, they need to be moved away from the microphones and away from blocking his face.
I'm not putting them there. I'm not putting them there. Thank you. I'm putting them there.
Wow.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any position on the verbiage of jury instruction 70 on page 65?
Don't ask me no question. Are you my accuser? Are you my accuser, Your Honor?
All right, he's choosing not to answer, so I'll mute him again. It's unfortunate that he's deciding not to participate in this. I agree with the state. I don't need to highlight that second paragraph. I will take that out, but I will include in the paragraph that reads, at times, Mr. Brooks has appeared from another courtroom, period. This must not influence your verdict in any manner.
Good night, guys.